Isabelle is a beautiful young French girl enjoying a beach vacation with her parents, younger brother Victor, and some family friends. Her parents divorced 7 years ago, and she's been living with her mother and stepfather ever since. During lunch, Isabelle's mother asks her to bring her friend Felix home someday, but the girl refuses to do so since they've only met yesterday. Later, Victor becomes bored and wanders around the room, checking on what everyone's doing. However, when he reaches Isabelle's room, he notices her pleasuring herself and is taken aback by the sight. The following day, Victor and Isabelle walk to the beach to sunbathe, and Felix also arrives at the scene. He then invites Isabelle to a party that evening, to which she eagerly agrees. That evening, Isabelle gets ready for the party and asks Victor to distract her parents so she can sneak away. She then arrives at the party and spends time with Felix. Later, they go to the beach and start kissing. One thing leads to another, and they eventually make love to each other. Afterward, Felix walks home with Isabelle and they say their goodbyes. A few moments later, Victor walks into Isabelle's room and asks her what happened earlier, and she candidly tells him that she slept with Felix. However, when Victor asks her to tell him everything that happened, Isabelle brushes him off and tells him to keep this a secret. The following day, Isabelle goes to the beach with her entire family. Felix also joins them, and he realizes at this point that Isabelle has no feelings for him. That evening, the family had fun while celebrating Isabelle's 17th birthday, and after a few days, the vacation ends and the family decides to return home. While on the way back, Isabelle notices Felix from the car, but she completely ignores him. In the next scene, we see Isabelle suited up and walking toward her hotel. She then enters room 6095 and meets an older gentleman named George. The man apologizes to her for not disclosing his true age on the website, to which Isabelle responds that she doesn't mind at all. She then tells the man that her name is Leah and that she's 20 years old. Later, the two end up being intimate, after which Isabelle takes some money from the man and leaves. On the way back home, Isabelle reads a book on the subway and returns home as if nothing happened. She then keeps the money she earned in the closet and heads to shower. And a few minutes later, she goes to a website using her nickname Leah and watches some adult videos. The following day at school, the students discuss poetry and the joys of romance, and also talk about how they spent their summer break. Later, Isabelle learns from a classmate that an old man once met her sister and she slept with him in return for a Prada bag. She then suggests that Isabelle save his phone number. Isabelle's taken aback and asks if she's serious, but her friend assures her that she was joking and that she hates Prada bags. Afterward, Isabelle receives another offer to sleep with a businessman for 300 euros. She arrives at the hotel in the afternoon and meets the man in the lobby. The two then enter a room where the man asks her to caress herself while he observes and pleasures himself. When they're done with the act, the man doesn't give her the entire amount, and when Isabelle demands it, the man threatens to inform her family. Isabelle has no leverage against this man at this point, so she leaves the place irritated with herself. Later, on the subway, Isabelle receives a text message telling her that someone's interested in her services for 500 euros. Isabelle accepts the offer without hesitation and arrives at a parking lot. Since she doesn't want to be lied to again, without hesitation, the man agrees and they have a great time in the car. Upon arriving home, Isabelle is unintentionally seen by her stepfather while taking a shower. Then he informs his wife that it's Isabelle's second bath of the day, and in response, she tells her husband that it's all a woman's business. Later, Isabelle's mother invites her to visit an opera theater with her, but she declines, claiming that she's not in the mood. However, when her mother convinces her that she needs to go out and explore life at this age, Isabelle changes her mind. Once they reach the opera theater, Isabelle notices one of her clients called George accompanied by a young woman. She also sees a family friend, Peter, who is on holiday with them by the sea, showing interest in her mother. Moments after that, Isabelle receives a text message from George inviting her to meet him at their usual hotel on Wednesday. The next meeting with George is different because they have a drink and talk for a long time. When she wonders who the girl at the theater was, George reveals that she's his daughter. The two haven't spoken in many years, but he's now trying to repair their relationship. As they chat, George inquires if she has many other clients like him, but Isabelle doesn't answer him. Following that, they proceed to have a steamy time together. When Isabelle realizes he's dead, she anxiously rushes to the restroom, where she stumbles and hits her head. Isabelle notices that George has taken a stamina-boosting medication and died as a result of an overdose. She then rushes out of the hotel without notifying anyone. However, when she reaches home, Isabelle tells her mother that she slipped in the shower and hit her head. The following day, two cops arrive at Isabelle's mother's office and reveal the truth about Isabelle's double life. The mother's startled and refused to believe that her daughter could do such a thing. But when the cops show her photos of Isabel outside the hotel, she's horrified by the revelation. However, the cops tell her that they aren't going to arrest Isabel and that she's considered a victim as she's a minor. They explain that they needed to figure out if she participated voluntarily or was forced. Later, upon reaching home, they go through Isabel's laptop and discover the website where she uploads her nude pictures. They also discover the money Isabel had hidden in her wardrobe. Sometime later, Isabel returns home from school and her mother confronts her angrily, asking why she's selling herself. She honestly doesn't understand Isabel's motivations for doing this, since they always have money. Furthermore, her mother's worried about whether she used condoms while sleeping with these men and asks her if she'll do it again. In response, Isabel tells her mother that these things are in the past now and it's over. Next, the mother's still disturbed by this and begins blaming herself, but her husband reassures her and urges her not to blame herself. He tells her Isabel's a beautiful woman, and it's no surprise that men want to sleep with her. But the mother's still horrified because she feels that if George hadn't died, Isabel would continue doing this. The next day, Isabel arrives at the police station and gives an honest account of what she'd gone through. She says that one day after school, an older man approached her and offered her money for her services. After some thinking, she decided she should do it. And at first, she was disgusted, but she soon grew used to it. She also bought a second phone for work use and signed up for a website to meet men. The officer then asks her if she intended to do this again in the future. Isabel claims it's just an experience, but the officer warns her that it may be dangerous because she never knows who she'll meet. Underage girls are easy prey, and they're frequently attacked and even killed. That evening, Isabel's mother tells her to see a psychologist because she believes Isabel may be suffering from psychiatric troubles. Isabel, on the other hand, claims she doesn't need a psychologist and assures her that she's okay. After that, her parents deliberate on what to do with the money. They think it's better to donate it someplace, but Isabel becomes agitated and declares that she wants her money for herself because she earned it. The following morning, Isabel and her mother go to see a psychologist. There, Isabel claims that she wants to pay the doctor with the money she earned. Her mother refuses, but the psychologist says that she earned the money and that it's hers. That evening, Isabel visits Peter's home to watch his children while he and his wife go out. When the couple returns home, Peter offers to drive Isabel home. However, the wife is clearly against it, so she drives Isabel herself. On the way, Isabel understands that her mother told Peter's family about her, which is why his wife's afraid. However, she tells Peter's wife that she's not a threat and that she should keep an eye on her husband instead. Upon arriving home, Isabel speaks with her stepfather, who informs her that her mother's upset because of her actions. But on the other hand, Isabel doesn't appear to be troubled by it. She then questions her stepfather about his personal life and also asks him what he thinks of her. However, the man gently tells her that she should be gentler with her mother. With this, Isabel changes the subject and tries to seduce him. But right at that moment, her mother arrives, and seeing them laughing together disturbs her. She then storms into the bedroom, followed by her husband. The mother informs them that a demon has possessed her daughter, but her husband claims that it's all a provocation and that he understands everything. Afterward, the mother decides to speak with her daughter again, but the conversation doesn't go well. As they argue, Isabel claims to be aware of her and Peter's relationship, and when Isabel inquires if she slept with him, her mother doesn't answer. The following day, Isabel returns to the psychologist and informs them that she felt nothing while sleeping with multiple men. But when she thought about it later at home or school, she wanted to try again. Isabel also states that she liked George and enjoyed being with him since he was different. However, she believes she's solely responsible for George's death and breaks down in tears. The next day at school, Isabel's best friend tells her that she slept with a boy and has lost her virginity. However, it was not very good, and the boy's now ignoring her. Isabel reassures her, saying that this is normal for the first time and suggests that they go to a party later. That evening, Isabel's friend arrives to pick her up, and the two of them go to the party. There, Isabel drinks a couple of cocktails before venturing out onto the balcony, where she meets her classmate, Alex. Now, Alex appears to have a crush on her and asks if he can kiss her. Without hesitation, Isabel allows him, and the two share a kiss and dance together. After that, they wander around the city all night talking about their lives. After some time has passed, the scene transitions to the spring session, and Alex and Isabel are in a relationship. However, Isabel doesn't have feelings for him, and she ends their relationship. Alex is clearly upset by this, but he accepts her decision and walks away. After that, Isabel takes out her secret SIM card and inserts it into her phone. As soon as she turns on the phone, multiple messages show up and she smiles in satisfaction. In the next scene, Isabel arrives at the same hotel where she used to go. After waiting for a while, an old woman approaches her and informs her that she's George's wife. She tells Isabel that she knows everything about how they met and their intimate lives. Isabel apologizes for his death, but the woman informs her that it wasn't her fault because he was already sick. Instead, she's glad that George died while making love to a beautiful girl like her. She then offers Isabel 300 euros and asks her to accompany her to room 6095 where her husband died. Upon arriving at the room, Isabel assumes the woman is trying to take advantage of her and asks whether she should undress, but the woman answers that it's not necessary. She then lies down in bed and invites Isabel to join her. Then the woman proceeds to caress Isabel's face and tells her she's a beautiful woman. Soon, they both fall asleep, but a few moments later, Isabel wakes up alone in the room with the money left on the counter for her.